Welcome to the Skedaddle Podcast, where we talk about running, nutrition, and sometimes things that don't relate to that at all. But we have a very, very special guest here today. We have a person who is super duper fast. They are a distance runner and I believe a Guinness Book World Record holder for, yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. And, all while retaining the statute of a humble man. We have Melvin. Pronounce your last name for me. Sorry. Nyiaro.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Most people will say Nyiaro.
But most people say Nyiaro, but it's yes. Nyiaro.
Yes.
Nyiaro. Okay. Yes. What's the origin of the last name?
It's just from Kenya.
From Kenya?
A small tribe back in Kenya.
Is that where you're from?
Yes.
So did you, how did you get to Stockton? Tell me the story about how you got here.
So, the reason I moved to the United States is my wife lived here.
Oh, okay.
In California. That's how I moved all the way from Kenya to here.
Okay, cool. So, tell me more about your running journey. Like, how did you become Melvin the Flash?
So, actually, Melvin the Flash that's the name I created when I moved to the States.
Yeah.
So before coming to the States, I was just running for fun. Running was just something that I did to be able to get from home to school.
Yeah.
So we had to run, close to 4 miles every day, run in the morning, and then you have to walk back home. So that's how I started running. When I was back in Kenya, I didn't think of making it as a runner, because in order for you to make it as a runner back in Kenya, you have to be extremely fast. So coming to the States in 2012, I just signed up for 5K.
Yeah.
I placed in 4th, and I haven't been training that much. And I'm like, oh, wow, you can actually place, you can actually even podium.
Yeah.
Because I never saw myself even just top 10 in running.
Yeah.
And also what also inspired me into running is, here you can find races almost anywhere you want.
Yeah.
You go in, sign up for a race, and there's places you can go. And also there's a pressure too behind it, because people will be like, oh, that's a guy from Kenya. So I wasn't as fast, so I had to make myself fast.
Yeah.
So through training and everything to get there.
Yeah. So you're saying, like, being Kenyan, you feel like you had to
to
be fast.
Yes.
Yes. I hadn't thought about it that way before, but wow, that is impressive. Have I told you the story about when I first met you? Like,
yes.
So it was the Mile Chasers Santa sleigh. I think that was the first time, and you were dressed like an elf, right?
That's me.
Yeah, and I saw you in the crowd. And what I try to do whenever I start like my run, this is probably not healthy, but I saw the guy in the elf costume and I was like, that guy looks fast. I'm going to try to keep up with that guy. That's what I'm going to try to do. So I have my own personal goal, but my other goal during the run right there on the spot is like, can I keep up with that guy? And so, they count us down, 3, 2, 1, go. You take off. You're gone. And so I was like, all right. So I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, okay, this is way faster than I normally run. But I was like, all right, I'm going to try to keep up with him if I can. So we're going down the stretch. I think you start out on Fremont is the street. And then you turn right onto in front of the Civic Center. And I'm going, right? I'm seeing you. You're like a couple meters down the way. And so I'm like, all right, I think I could keep up with him, whatever. And I'm looking at my watch. My pace is like 6 something, which is not my normal pace at all. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to keep trying to do this. So for the first mile, you were within reach, and then you just took off. And I couldn't keep up. You were gone from there.
Most of the time when I sign up and I'm in a costume, most people will be, oh, maybe this guy was just, he's coming for fun. But yes, I'm coming for fun. I'm here to compete.
Yeah.
So I want to try to do a little bit of both, so I can.
Do you remember what you placed in that one? Or did you podium for that one?
I think I placed top 10. So
top 10.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if you.
I've won Santa Sleigh. I won it.
You won Santa Sleigh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won a Santa Sleigh. Yeah. I won it. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure you won that one, dude.
Yes,
you were taking off.
I did.
By the time I got back, you had already you weren't even sweaty anymore. You were just like, you had already cooled down. And I was like, man, dude, that guy's quick. And I was like, I think we took a picture, and that's when I first like
Yes.
introduced myself to you. And I found out, I was like, oh, this is the guy, you know, who does the costumes and stuff. And that's your thing. So tell me, how did that become a thing? How did you become the costume guy? And tell me more about the record.
So okay, so at this point I have three Guinness World Records. So the first one was the fastest half marathon ran dressed as a fruit. So the piece of fruit I chose was a banana.
Yeah.
The second one is the fastest half marathon ran dressed as an elf. And then my last one is the fastest half marathon ran dressed as a leprechaun.
Yeah.
So all of these records were attained in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting from 2019 up to last year.
Yeah.
So for me, I was just Googling and looking around like the Guinness World Records and people running, and I'm like, you know what? I can beat the time, and it kind of sounds so good for me. It's a good challenge because
Yeah.
you know you can come in a race and people will be like, oh, that guy. Maybe you know you line up in the front with all the elites and all that. People will think you're just there for like the 5 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanna challenge it. I
Yeah.
want to challenge people. You know, everybody's dressed up. They're dressed up like runners and all that, and they'll be like, "Why is this guy in a banana?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Just give me a few minutes, and then you're gonna find out.
Yeah.
So the reason why I chose costume races, events where I can dress up, is because I just don't want to make running feel like it's just there, just running. I also want to make it fun because
Yeah.
sometimes for me, I run for fun, I run to compete, and also I run to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So if I can find anything where I can meet in the middle and achieve all this that I'm looking for, then for me, I feel happy. I feel like an accomplished athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Because I think that one thing that needs to happen more in the running community is that I feel like it gets taken really seriously. And it, you know, for a lot of people, this is something that they train for, Olympics and things like that, or just, you know, their own personal, you know, some people are trying to get to Boston qualifying times. But for a lot of people that are new to the field, or people that just want to do it for fun, it can kind of be intimidating because you feel like everyone might be here to qualify for Boston, and that's not the case. You know, a lot of people just do it for the release, or just to have a good time, or to dress up like a banana today, or whatever it might be. So you having that flair, that flavor, I appreciate it, because it really makes the running, it really showcases how fun running can be.
Yes.
You know, it's not something that you need to always have the mindset that I need to be first place, I need to be champion. Well, in your case, you do both. But but you know, I think it's more inviting to people to see people like you out there, instead of the person with the, you know, the running glasses on all the time. You know, this guy's A6'd out from like head to toe, whatever. That might be intimidating for someone that's brand new to the field. But seeing a banana out there, you know, that lets them know that this sport is appealing.
Yeah, it's also like appealing.
Yeah.
So also, like, you know, there's also holidays. Let's say 4th of July. You know, I try to make it fun, where instead of just running in the normal outfit, I'll just you know, sprinkle in some American flag stuff, and you know, make it look cool.
Yeah, I saw you on Instagram. You know, you were doing your dance with your medal. You know, I see you out there.
There you go.
You know, make it fun. How's the drink, by the way? Did you get a chance to try it?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, the flavor is good.
Awesome. That is our sponsor for this episode, Life Aid's Fit Aid. It's one of my favorites, by the way, and it is a good recovery drink too. So you can do it before or after, but after the run, it's a good way to get your body back in shape. So thank you, Fit Aid, for sponsoring this episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So I'm a little plug-in. So I know that you do a lot of runs throughout the year. How do you adjust for like different? Because what runs have you done? Like, what are the furthest runs that you've done, and what are some of the closest runs that you've done?
So mostly I like to stay close within like 2 hours. So
Yeah.
the farthest I've gone maybe up to Fresno, where I'll do the two cities marathon
Yeah.
out there in Fresno. But most of my races are, up to San Francisco Marathon.
Yeah.
So within local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many runs do you do a year?
I try to do at least 4 marathons a year, and
Yeah.
countless of half marathons.
Yeah.
And 5Ks, just to tune up my pace and see
Yeah.
how my fitness is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. Has there been like a run that was really challenging for you? Like something that was really hard for you to complete?
Yes.
Which one?
San Francisco Marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just for me, even when I feel like I'm trained enough,
Yeah.
it's never that enough, because it's a bit of a change of my kind of environment, because I live here in Sacramento, and it's very hard to get used to the hills. Then
Yeah.
for me, in order for me to, I try to train race specific. So anyway, if I have a race, I try to imitate the race course. So
Yeah.
San Francisco Marathon, it's a very hilly course.
Yeah.
So in order for me to match up to the course, I have to travel a little bit more to find places where you can find hills. And,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So for those listening or watching, Stockton, Sacramento are very, very, very flat. It's a grid. There's the most you might get is an overpass. That's about it. I think we're only like, Stockton is 23 feet above sea level.
Yes.
And it never gets really higher than that for the entire city. It's just flat. Meanwhile, San Francisco, you have a lot of elevation. If you've seen it in cities on TV, there's a lot of hills. And I was deceived when I first did my first half marathon. My very first half ever was the Golden Gate Half Marathon. And I didn't know, because I don't have like a long history of running. That was not, my backstory. I didn't do cross country or anything in high school. And my friend invited me to do the Golden Gate Half. And I was like, dude, we don't run. That's not us. And it's that shirt right there, right in the middle, the red one. Yeah, and I keep all of those different runs that I do that are very important to me. I frame them because I remember them a little bit more as I look at the picture of the shirt. And we go out there. Did not know what to expect. I just knew we were going to run over the Golden Gate Bridge, but I didn't understand that you need to get up to the bridge. The bridge is high. And so we start out, like a aquatic park or something like that, I think is what it's called. And then on mile 3, it's just straight up. You're just going straight up. It smells beautiful because it's like eucalyptus trees and all this stuff, but it is deceivingly hilly to get there. And then once you go across the bridge, you got to go under it and then back up again.
Yes.
So, and then you got to go through the city. So it's the hills. I was not prepared for those at all.
So that one, even up to now, I've done. It's gonna be my 5th time actually running San Francisco Marathon. I've paced 2 years in a row, and I've raced 3. This is gonna be I've raced twice and then paced twice, and then this is gonna be another day to pace again. So it's always very challenging for me. I'm a 3:05 pacer official pacer for San Francisco Marathon. And
what pace again?
3:05 full marathon. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of the even the toughest pacing duties I've had, because you got to stay. You got to stay, and you have to bring everybody home, because within that pace, so many people want to qualify for Boston. Yeah, there's a lot of talent that goes into there just to help other runners to achieve their goal. So
because I've never thought about being a pacer before, because I don't have the speed to do pacing for. I feel like I'm inconsistent with my pace regardless, even on my personal runs. But as a pacer, you have to stay very consistent. You need to make sure that you're monitoring your time, and because everyone's relying on you. So I haven't thought about that pressure. What has there ever been a moment when you were pacing where you were like, oh man, this is like a little tough, like I'm worried about getting there on time? Or is it always just like, we'll do it, I got this?
And going back is the same race. San
Yeah.
Francisco Marathon is it's one of the races that for me it taught me how to be humble, how to actually respect the distance.
Yeah.
Because half marathon, I never felt anything like that. I've never hit a wall on a half marathon. All this happens in a marathon.
Yeah.
So even when I'm very experienced, still it comes down to that marathon distance can humble you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've paced before where you get to mile 20 and you're like, all these people are depending on me.
Yeah.
It's just I trained so hard. I accepted this opportunity to help my fellow athletes to reach the finish line at a certain time.
Yeah.
And no matter what, even when I feel like I'm tired, even when I feel like I can't do it anymore,
Yeah.
I still have to do it.
Wow.
It's just force that drives me, knowing that I can do it. I've done it before.
Yeah.
Why not today?
Yeah. Wow. That is, that requires a lot of discipline, like mental discipline. How do you, even when you're not doing pacing, like when you're trying to just, PR, or if you're trying to podium for something, how do you, when, you're not necessarily having people relying on you for pacing, how do you keep your mind disciplined on a long run? Because I've only done one marathon, actually two, but it's not as many as 4 a year, for you. So how do you stay disciplined for 26.2 miles?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's for me.
Like what's going through your head? Are you like talking to yourself throughout, or do you listen to music? What does your marathon look like?
Okay, so I just recently, like last year, started listening to music when I'm doing my long run.
Yeah.
That's the only time I will have my phone and listening to music. But so I've realized if I have a little bit of a distraction, then it kind of helped me like just forget about like just the running part, and then just I kind of choose when I need to listen to music.
Yeah.
There are times when I will need to listen to music, but most of my times I will just want to get out there and just have my personal therapy. I think about my family. I think about the things that I want to do for, the things which are ahead of me, my school. I think about a lot of stuff when I'm just running. I think it's just like a personal therapy for me, and it kind of help distract me.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful, man. And I tell people the story about how running is a therapy for me, but when I explain it to non-runners, they just look at me like you're crazy.
It's a good therapy.
It is a great therapy. I use that as a time to just kind of get away because, we've got a lot going on. We got, 3 kids running around the house, 4, 3, and about to be 1 in a couple weeks. And, that's, it's hard at the household because, what does your household look like? Because for us, it's us and the 3 kids all throughout the day. And then when we go to work, we're dealing with hundreds of kids because we're teachers. Yes. And then we get back home, those 3 kids, put them back to bed, 8 o'clock, and we're just like, so what does your day look like? What does the family look like?
So I think we're exactly the same as you. I have 3 kids. So it is the same thing. I work at night, so most of the time I deal with hundreds of patients at night. Mm-hmm. So coming home, I'm like, you know what? Yes, I just need to, so long as I feel like my life is, when you have a good support, then everything else balance. And, a little bit of miles, I need to run a little. And I found out that when I run, then I have that, it's like, just like my time. When I have that, my time, then it's easier for the rest of the other stuff to align together.
Yeah.
So if I'm allowed to have just a little bit of my time, go running, then the rest of the thing, I'm ready for whatever during the day.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
I have a 7, 5, and 2.
7, 5, 2. Okay. So you have a little bit more gap.
All girls, yes.
All girls, right? Because they came out to the High Five for Teachers, right? I saw them out there. Yes. That's beautiful, man. That's absolutely beautiful. Do you find like, because you said you work at night, what is your occupation?
I'm a lab assistant.
Lab assistant?
And
Do you find, I say again?
And a nursing student right now.
And a nursing student, man. How do you find time to like balancing? Because one thing I struggle with sometimes is figuring out, how do I get the long runs in? Because that's a large chunk of your day.
Yes.
For the average guy, if I'm going to go do, even just like a half marathon, like for training and everything, that's like an hour 40 of my day. It's a good chunk of my time. If I'm doing like a paced tempo run, that could be, 2 hours of my day out there. And then you got to come back and shower and, be ready for the day, eat something. So sometimes you're looking at 2.5 hours, of your morning taken up already. Do you find sometimes it's challenging to like do father time while also being, an elite athlete?
It's what I can say. It's a little bit hard for when I'm doing like my long run. Sometimes it's very hard because my long runs will be at least an hour plus.
Yeah.
So that part, it's a little bit hard. So I have to I have to wake up like really early to be able to beat that time. So I need to make a sacrifice that I don't have to. I mean, let me just wake up really early.
Yeah.
So I can go do my run, and then by the time I come home, that's when everybody's trying to wake up and all that. So, and this way I'm not missing out on the further time, and I still be able to do my thing.
Right.
Sometimes if I'm doing like my speed work at the track and I have to watch my girls, then I'll take them with me to the track.
Yeah.
So the track, I know for sure it's easier. You can just see them, running around in the field.
Yeah.
And I can just be doing my normal stuff. I'll just run around the track.
Yeah.
And I can still be able to watch them.
That's a great idea.
So I just take them with me out there, let them just wander around, give them a ball. You'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to borrow that idea. Yeah. And I got to get out to a track run. I haven't had a track run in a while, but that's a great idea. Our kids are a little smaller too, so I think that's a little hard.
It's easier because they can just run within reach.
Yeah.
They have to, and if you're doing like a track workout, you can cut it short anytime you want. So versus you cannot bring them like on a trail, then it means now you have to, if they have to do their thing, there's no way you can do it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Wow, okay. So do you prefer trail runs or road runs or track runs?
I prefer, mostly I've been doing road racing. So
yes.
If I will go on a trail, it's because I'm trying to get like more of a hill workout and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where do you go? Like, do you go like maybe to like somewhere local?
Auburn.
Auburn?
I go to Auburn
okay.
If I'm doing, the hill workouts. If I want a trail that is just nice and flat, but then faster, I'll go to American River Trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just try to imitate where I'm going.
Okay. All right. Cool. So again, this is one of the fastest guys I've seen out on my runs, and we bump into each other like all the time. We just did the Moonlight Run, right?
Just a few
days ago. That was over in Davis, and with the Moonlight Run, I saw you
before.
Yeah, I saw you pacing. Oh. You're on your way back.
Yeah,
and I didn't know you were even there. I had no idea.
I saw you. You were by the front. I don't know what you're doing now. By the machines out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you came in before it started.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I jumped in like right before because they said it was gonna be delayed. They told me 15 minutes, and so I was like, okay, cool. So that gives me some time to fly the drone and everything. And so I had the drone.
You were the one with the drone?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. I'm like, okay.
And so I was like, all right, cool. I'll get some time to fly the drone real quick. So I'm flying the drone, and the announcer goes, all right, we're about to start in 2 minutes. And I was like. So like I'm quickly trying to land it. I land it, fold it back up, put it away, turn it off, put the sticks underneath it, put it in my backpack, hide the backpack so no one will find it. Yeah. And I run back in there and I'm like, okay, I'll do some quick stretches. They're like 3, 2, and then I take off. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea who was there, and I want to say it was like mile 4 or so. Mm-hmm. I'm on my way wrapping around into like a neighborhood because it's the 10 miler, it's a couple loops, and I see a guy wearing a pink shirt and I was like. I don't know. No, is that I couldn't tell from like because it starts getting darker,
Yes.
you know. But you're wearing like atomic highlighter pink, so I was like, I'm pretty sure that was him. I don't know. I don't know if it was him or not. So we keep on going, whatever. And then I see you at the end. I was like, of course it was this guy. Finishing up mile 6 when I'm finishing up mile 4. But yeah. So what is your fastest recorded time that you have
So for what distance?
for each distance?
Fastest. I've done a mile in 4:37.
Holy cow!
5K. My fastest was like 16:15. I'm not like super fast. Yeah.
Not super fast. 15, 16. So if you're doing a 15 or so, 15, 16, that's like 5 something a mile, right? That's
5:20.
5:20. That's it's still very fast. That's faster than one of my miles.
I've done my PR for half marathon is 1:15 flat, and then I was just about close in a banana costume to break my PR, so I was surprised.
Yeah. And that was in a banana
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah.
And your marathon distance?
2:42.
2:42?
Yes.
What is have you done any distances longer than a marathon?
Yes, I did. I did a 12-hour run. It's one of the brazen races in
Yeah.
the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Where you start at 7 and you finish at 7, and you can finish anytime if you wanted to. But then,
Yeah.
So I did 64 miles, but then that was in a course of 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel? Was that like did you train for that run or did you sign up for it? And
No,
just,
actually, going into that race, my longest has ever been just a marathon.
yeah.
So
Even in
that-
training.
Even in training,
Yeah.
I've never done any training runs more than a marathon. So
Yeah.
for that day, I just wanted to see how far my body can take
Yeah.
me. It's a painful
Yeah.
run, and I did it on a Sunday, and I had to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
And I don't think I will ever do something like that.
One and done.
I mean, I will do it, but then I think I need more time it just takes a lot of proper planning, or if you have to go to work or
It's a commitment.
Yeah, it's something because it's painful. Your legs are painful. And
Yeah.
you're sore. You're tired, and my job involves me walking around. So
Yeah. You're just limping around all day long
yes,
at the
and people know that what did you do to yourself?
Yeah. People think you're crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, my friend he'll be on the show too, Garth. Have you met Garth? Garth he's part of our Skedaddle team. So Garth, whenever we do, the High Five for Teachers, Talk of the Town, Santa Dash, all the races that we host, Garth is like my race coordinator. He helps out with like planning things out. Because initially I thought I could do all of this race hosting stuff by myself. And so that's where the name Stowers Does It All kind of came from. I thought I could do. And then as I started to grow, I realized there's no way this is a one-man job.
Yes.
So my name will be changing eventually. I just don't know what, because Stowers Does It All. I can't. There's no way. But Garth is a ultra marathoner, and he does distances. He just did one in I don't know where he was. I saw it on Strava, but it was another 12-hour one. I think it was Brazen Races, and it was 45 miles. I have never done 45
It might be the
miles.
same one then.
Yeah?
Okay.
I've never done that before in my life. Like that just seems like an outrageously long distance.
The good thing about that, you're looping around. I think like a 3-mile course, which is you're not forced to do the entire 12 hours. It's just
You can stop whenever.
Yeah, you can start and stop anytime. So whatever time you record, if it's 3 miles, it took you one loop, then 12 hours you did 3 miles.
Yeah.
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 It depends on how you want to challenge yourself.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so you said 4:30 something for a mile.
4:37.
4:37?
Yes.
4:37 for a mile. 5K.
16:15.
He's not that fast. 10K. You said
10K I've done 33.
33.
Yes.
Okay, 33.
And 115 for a half.
For a half, and 2:42
2:42
for a full.
Yes.
My numbers are not that impressive, but Mile, I think the fastest I've ever done one was 5:45. That was my fastest mile. 5K, fastest I've done it was 19. It was like right under 20. It was like 1958 or something like that. 10K, I think it was 40. No, yeah, 42, something like that. And then half marathon, which is my main distance. That's the distance I run the most. Out of all the distances, half marathon is my sweet spot. And 140, I think, was the fastest I've done it. And then full marathon, we're not going to talk about that one because I did not train for it. I underestimated what it would take. And so I just figured, because I was kind of getting ahead of myself, I was like, I do half marathons all the time. So I was invited to do the Portland full marathon in Oregon. And it was like, I'm not paying for it. I'll be fine. I'm just gonna have a good time. No, dude. But the competitive nature that I have wouldn't allow me to just have a good time. So and because of that, my mindset is set to compete with myself. And I get to the half marathon distance and I PR. Bad call.
Oh yeah.
Bad call.
For marathon, yes.
Yeah. So I PR at my half, and I was like, oh God, this is.
You're going to be paying for it.
Yeah, and so I paid for it. So PR'd at my half, and the second half was my worst half marathon time ever. So, totally underestimated the full marathon. So I will be doing at least one more just to compete with my previous time, and then retire.
No, yet.
So this is Melvin so far. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, and then when we come back, we'll talk about what does his off season look like versus his on season, and some of his mental goals that he has for himself. So stay tuned. And we are back with the second half of our podcast with Melvin Nyiaro. Nyiaro, okay. And we are going to talk more about, like his experiences and stuff, and kind of dive into what it takes to be him. Wow. So tell me a little bit more about, like, for these long runs, right? Because you're doing 242 for like your fastest marathon. What do you eat before a run, during a run, after a run?
Okay, so I can attest to this. I started my nutrition. I've been running for over 10 years. I started focusing more on my nutrition last year. Yeah. That's when I met Xavier and the team. Yeah. Before, I'll do my normal stuff, like just like anybody else. Like, we'll wake up in the morning. I'm used to tea, so that's how I grew up with tea. So I'll take a tea and a bagel. So that's kind of something I've been doing for a while. But then I'll not carry water with me. So most of the time I'll just after I have my breakfast, that's it. I'm ready to just go around. I'll run an hour and a half, and I'll
with no water.
With no water. That's how I've been doing that for a while. Unless I'm running on a bike trail that has like the water station, like the water fountains. Yeah, that's it. But if I'm going on a trail, there's no water stops anywhere. So that's gonna be it. Then last year, I met up with Xavier and the rest of the team, and they kind of emphasizes on nutrition. I've heard so many people talk about nutrition, but to me, I never thought that's something I really needed it. Yeah. But to my surprise, it's a game changer. Yeah. All my PR just happened last year. So most of closest to my PR happened last year. Yeah. And that's with me, trying to take nutrition very serious. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that you need to fuel the body. So on my long run, I've been taking salt pills. Yeah. I've been taking energy gel. It can range from mountain. It can range to just a bunch of, I've been trying out like different nutrition to see what fits which sits well with my stomach. And
what do you prefer?
I prefer good.
You prefer goo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I prefer goo most of the time. So I've been using goo for a few times.
It's funny because out of all the different nutritions out there, I don't like goo. That was the first one I ever had.
Yeah.
And I thought they were all like that, right? And it's just my preference. This is my preference. It's not a paid endorsement. But I just don't like the way goo makes my mouth feel, you know, like it's, at least the ones that I've had, it's just, they're sticky, you know.
Yeah.
Same with
water to wash it down.
Yeah. Same with honey stinger, you know, and like I feel like they're sticky. Whereas spring energy gels, have you had those ones? No. Those are my favorite ones. I feel they are. Do I have one here? I think I used it on my last run.
Spring.
Yeah, spring. It's like
Is it gel? Or...
Yeah, but it's more like just crushed fruit and like electrolytes. Mm-hmm. So it's more like jelly. It's more like a fruit pouch, if you will. And they have like different ones, like 100 calories with caffeine, you know, and there's ones with, you know, like electrolyte boost and all that stuff. And there's all these like, you know, different flavors and stuff. But I like those ones because they didn't make my mouth feel any kind of way. But goo, like I don't like the texture. Some people don't take energy gels at all, but goo is one that I just haven't been able to stomach. So it's interesting. I was curious to see what you were gonna say because I wanted to see how it affects you. But goo sits well with your stomach. Okay.
Yeah, it sits well with me. I mean, with my stomach, and most of the time, and also like salt pills.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about the brand, but I've used salt pills a lot and the gummies. I'm usually not a fan of like taking a bunch of stuff when I'm running. I just prefer just a little of the stuff, and then I just want to go run.
Yeah.
And post run is just, I don't like to eat right after running.
Yeah.
My stomach doesn't do well, so I have to wait at least almost an hour before I can just eat any meal. So I'll just take anything smaller, but what I prefer for the most part is the Uncrustable. I can't get my hands out of those.
Yeah.
Those are usually my favorite.
Yeah. For after the run?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
That's my favorite.
Interesting. Yeah. So at the finish line, I've asked a couple other people on the show, do you take the banana at the finish line?
I have to.
You have to?
Yeah, I love the bananas.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I always take the banana. It's interesting though. I would say it's about half and half so far on the show. You're about, I think, the sixth person on the show, and yeah, it's like half. Some people say yes, some people say no. I always take the banana. Yes. I always take it. I always take the banana. Matter of fact, I go shopping as soon as like I'm done with the run, because some runs have like a whole row of things that you can eat, you know, and it's crazy because like I host runs and they're very small in comparison to like these major ones that have tens of thousands of people. And I'm lucky to get some like fruit out there, you know, like a nutrition bar, you know, shout out to Jam Bar. But these guys are like, they'll have like these, I don't know what they're called. We saw them at the, what was the run? The Beta Breakers. They have like these bags and they're not chips, but they're like these little crunchy, pizza bites or something like that. Those, yes. Yeah, they have those things, and then they have like you know, Nutri-Grain bars, and then they have like, you know, the banana, and then there's like orange slices. So I go in there and I'm just like, you know, loading up my bag. I'm like, I'm gonna eat this stuff on the way home because like I had to take BART after the Beta Breakers. Yes. So I was just chowing down on the way back home, man, so I don't have to stop at a place. Yeah. So interesting. So you do take the banana, but you said you don't like to eat right away.
I don't like to eat, but I'll take, you know, a banana or something small. I usually will not eat anything big.
Yeah.
So just I want to just grab a couple bites, and that's it for maybe about an hour or so.
Yeah.
I mean, also most of the time it's like, it used to give me like enough time to get to my car if I was to, you know, the same way if I have to get to the bar and then get to my car. By the time I do all the stuff, I think I will be ready to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
It's like I'm buying time, and also just let my body settle well first before I can eat. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what do you feel like is the secret? What's the secret for preparing for long runs? Like if someone is getting into this and they want to start preparing their bodies for long runs, what do you feel like? Because you said that, you know, when you first started, maybe you didn't really like focus on nutrition as much. Would you start with that? Would you tell them to start with your nutrition, or would you tell them like, you know, straight, like what's the thing? What is your idea of the secret for preparing your body for a long run?
So the secret is, I think it's very simple. For me, is your long run starts the night before you go to bed. For me personally, I like to see that I'm ready to run even before I even go to bed.
Yeah.
I know, oh, my shoes are ready because if I have to do a long run, I have to wake up super early. I don't want to wake everybody up, and all this stuff that will involve me just getting out of the house. I want to make sure it's within reach.
Yeah.
I don't want to wake up in the morning, have to think about so many other stuff. I like to have my go ready, my clothes are ready, and I just want to be mentally prepared, because once you're mentally prepared, then it doesn't matter. In the morning, you'll just wake up, grab whatever you want to, whatever your nutrition is for morning before you go run, and then you just get up and run. Yeah.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
So for me, because we obviously didn't talk about, we talked about some stuff during the break. My journey to get to the half marathon distance was like kind of rocky. It took me a minute to figure out what it was the perfect way to prepare my body. And, I didn't know about like eating before. Like I don't eat a lot of food before a run, in fact, it's very, very, very minimal. I stick to just a bagel, right? And you said you do
a bagel, yes.
Bagel and like maybe like a half a cup of blueberries. That's my thing. Or sometimes it's just half a banana, because I feel like if I eat a whole banana, sometimes I'm just too heavy before a run. Also don't like doing bathroom breaks on runs if I can avoid it. So what are some things that if you are maybe transitioning from like a diet that isn't very runner friendly, what are some things that you think that people should just avoid eating if you're trying to condition your body for a run?
I would suggest for people not to eat any sugary stuff. For me, I just try to avoid anything like it's very sweet before running. So I mean, that's kind of the thing. I don't eat too much sugar before running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we just have a few more questions. But one question I want to definitely check in with you in, looking ahead, because you've been doing this for 10 years now. Do you see yourself continuing to do running as the thing that you want to do for, your is it because it's like a free time, it's a hobby for you because you have a job still, but do you see yourself jumping into this professionally, or do you see yourself, what do you see as your long term for running?
So for running, I think I see myself running just to stay in shape, and I'll still continue being competitively, but it's something I've not announced. But I've been approached by different officials. They want me to try this kind of they want me to try race walking. So the U.S., we do not have enough race walkers, and it's something that I tried about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I did well, but I didn't give it my time. But
what does it mean by race walking?
Race walking, it's like fast walking.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a very technical kind of, because I want to represent the U.S. in one of the events.
Yeah,
and for running seems to be very competitive. So I wanna, by next year, I wanna start trying to give my time to race walking at the same time. So to see if I can represent this U.S. somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's part of my goals in the near future.
Wow. Okay, did not see that coming.
Yes.
That was.
Yeah.
What does is training different for that?
Yes. So because I have the endurance, I have the speed, but the one thing I need to train is the technique,
the foot placement, and everything, right?
Because once you're not supposed to lift bend your knees and all that. So that's the part that I need to work on. Then after that, it seems to be very easy, because it's not very competitive versus compared to running.
Yeah.
So I know there's a few loopholes in between. I can be able to fit right there.
I see it like in it looks like the technique is so
Yes.
precise.
Yes.
You know, and I remember watching it one time, and I was like, they are going hella fast, man.
Yes.
Like that is
Yeah.
impressive. Have you practiced the step and the technique already?
Yes.
How do you feel like the adjustment was compared to doing like marathons and things like that?
It's because you're working different muscles in your, in your body. So
It looks like it's a lot of
Yeah.
hips.
yes,
A lot
you
of
have to swing your hips, left, right, and your arms. So I've tried it and I like it, but I mean, even though it looks weird, but I like it though.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a sport that if I give it almost the same um, time that I'm dedicating to running, uh, I can do well, and I don't have to give up running to do this. So
Yeah.
this is something that will supplement my running, just to still see. I like to try. I'm a very curious person.
Yeah.
I wanna see what my body can do. So
Yeah.
it's something that I wanna give it a go.
Awesome, man. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
You'd be the first person on the show that's pursuing that as their next step. That's pretty cool, man. Okay, so for our one of our last questions that we'll have, and then we'll give you guys this thing we call it the final stretch. One of the questions I want to know is like, what is your take on like if you were to try to compete, obviously, because you go and do podium races and such. What's your take on people that are, really avid runners out there, and they want to find a way to get a little bit faster? Like what would you recommend for someone that is already fast and wants to get faster? Like, how do you take it one step higher?
Okay, that's actually what I'm still doing. So it works best to. So for me, I try to. You have to try a different approach.
Yeah.
I think for me, even up to I've been running for over 10 years, but up to now, running it's an experience. It's something that works today, but then tomorrow doesn't work. The same method you're using, it depends on how well your body is.
Right.
So, because today you can be training, you can be more trained and all that, but when you come race day, it's not happening the same way you want it. But for those who are avid runners and people who want to get faster, I would say the first one, try to imitate the course, and also I would say train race specific. So look at your goals, set goals that are achievable versus goals that I did 242 years ago,
Yeah.
but that's not the current fitness I am right now.
Yeah.
So don't try to compare what you used to be years ago. Train according to your current physical ability that you have right now, physical current fitness that you are. So yes, you did faster before, but start working. It's easy for me to train starting from a lower going up versus trying to train like I used to be fast.
Yeah.
So I try to go here. I know I can get there, but then it's good to set my goals here as I keep working on them.
Yeah.
And I will say find people that are faster than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This running, it's something that you get pushed by people who know better than you.
Yeah.
And work together as a team and try to get somebody who can help you get there. People can motivate you. You learn from people. People you can, there are people who will recommend good nutrition. Try and error, and also try to have like structured runs. So don't just wake up, oh, today I'm gonna do a long run. No, just running. It takes a little bit of planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, have days when you're gonna do your speed work. Have days when you're gonna do your long runs. Your long runs doesn't have to be all slow. You can structure your long runs where you include your fast paces in there. You can have days when you're just going out there for having fun.
Yeah.
Do cross training.
Yeah.
If you need a little break, take a bicycle, run. I take my daughter with me sometimes, and she will ride a bicycle, and I'll just jog. It's a good way for me to get in my easy run, and at the same time, just having a good time with my kids.
Yeah.
It's just depends on what you want to do, but it takes a little bit of everything combined to get you to be that good runner that you are.
That's a very solid answer. Mm-hmm. So you said surround yourself by people that are faster than you.
Yes.
Is there anyone in our community that you feel, because you're the fastest one that I know, who would you say you surround yourself with that's faster than you?
Most people on a bicycle.
Most people. Oh, that's solid. Yeah, because for me, obviously, I would surround myself by you. Because I feel like you're a motivation. I feel like you are someone who carries himself in a humble way. You're very, 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 very humble, and I appreciate that because it's easy. I feel like when you have a skill or you're really good at something to kind of see yourself as like, better, but I always feel like you have this mentality where you're very humble about who you are. You're amazing. Your podium, you're, 242. Like this guy is like, and even like, you said that was years ago. You're still doing what others would like dream to do at a pace that is, almost unattainable for some. And you're a benchmark that people try to meet. And you still do that in a way where you carry yourself in a way that doesn't give like a pompous character. It's very, very humble, and I appreciate that. So, thank you for being who you are, man. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. So this is the final questions that we'll ask you. They're going to be 9 questions. We call it the whole 9 yards. And it's just 9 questions that are going to go really quick. You're going to give me a one word answer sometimes, might be a fill in the blank. But you need to don't think too hard about it. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Whole 9 yards. Number 1, best running shoe.
Nike.
Ooh, okay. Half marathon or full?
Half.
Okay. Eat before or after a run?
After.
Running in the morning or at night?
Morning.
Music or no music?
No music.
Honey Stinger or Goo?
Goo.
Yeah, we covered that one. Drake or Kendrick?
Drake.
Oh, okay. Wine or beer?
Wine. Of course, wine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The most beautiful race to do in California is?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. Awesome. And now we've had Melvin on the show. Thank you for coming out. This has been one of my favorite interviews by far, asking the great man himself. Anything that you want to say to all of our listeners and watchers that are on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Amazon Music, and all the other podcast stations?
Yeah. So I will say have fun on running, training, you get what you put for. And at the same time, race your own pace. This is your own race. You can be competitive, you can be slow. This is all about what you want to be, what you want to feel. So if you're out there trying to PR, trying to accomplish anything, this is your chance. This is your moment. It doesn't have to be somebody else's moment. This is your moment. Whatever running or exercising, whatever it brings out of you, just go and have fun. Enjoy it.
Hey, that's as honest as it gets, man. Thank you again for coming out. Before we go, we have to thank again Fit Aid for being our sponsor for this episode, and we also have to thank our amazing patrons on Patreon that help keep this show together. We have Blanca, Heather, and James. You guys are the ones that help make things like this happen. And we also have to thank our editor, Kevin Dixon. He has been an amazing help on all this because Stowers cannot do it all. If you are still listening and you want to follow us on Spotify, we greatly appreciate it. We also appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel at Skedaddle. Also find us on Instagram at Run Skedaddle. You can also listen to us on wherever you listen to your podcast. That could be Amazon Music, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're everywhere, guys. We're everywhere. And we will see you guys on the next one. We've got a Skedaddle. Till next time.